Hello Internet, I am the hero of Julius once again with another One Piece chapter summary. This week's chapter is chapter 1081, and it's a long chapter, let me just read it. 10th Ship Captain of the Blackbeard Pirates, Kuzan. Yeah, spoiler alert, given the title, this is right up there with, Portgas D Ace dies, anything you were worried about has been instantly confirmed by the title of the chapter. So let's talk about the art real quick. It's all the boys of the Straw Hat crew. They are sleeping, just laying down together. Sanji's the only one still awake. He's reading a cookbook right now, probably debating what to make all of them for breakfast. Not really sure where Nami and Robin are. Maybe they're both out on like a shopping trip or something, just a girls' night kind of thing. This is what the guys are doing, and I think it's great. I like this artwork. It's nice to see all the crew together doing just crew-like things, sleeping in a big pile together. I especially like Zoro pushing against Jinbei or Frankie's head, seeing maybe Frankie was getting a little too close and just by sleeping habit Zoro just pushed him away. But it's great art. So let's get into the heartbreak of it all. The chapter begins right where we left off. Garp decimating the town square, or newly made town square, of Hachinoshu, thanks to Kujaku's whip fruit. And just the entire ship coming down, and Groose makes a big melty blob of clay to catch the ship safely, and Garp lands, and he's like, "Oh man, that was quite the strike. I really hate old age. Really just I don't hit just as hard as I used to." You even see some of Blackbeard's men are like, "What do you mean used to? Was that not enough destruction for you?" It truly makes you wonder if Garp is either just this strong and he's now just blaming things on old age, or if Garp was so horrifyingly terrifying. We've seen flashbacks of Odin as he watched, Whitebeard and Roger clash, and Odin stood there if I get in the middle of this, I'm dead. But Garp was toe to toe with those two guys, but every time we see Garp do something literally catastrophic, he's always complaining about his old age. He's been doing this 2 years ago when he was lobbing, cannonballs at Luffy. Garp, we need a flashback. We need a Garp flashback. We need to see young Garp just looking at an island, pointing at it, and then the island explodes because that's just how strong Garp is. Now that Garp has gotten the attention of the entire island, we do see Kobe running towards him with Hibari in tow, and Kobe's still holding his little iron ball, and Hibari says, "Garp, you need to get this off of him, because we've been trying everything, and nothing seems to work. We haven't been able to get it off, so you gotta help it." And before she can finish her sentence, Hibari is frozen over. So, we know who froze her over because the title of the chapter, but if it's true, if he really has turned evil, I'm sorry, Kobe. I guess you're just gonna need to go see what Rebecca's up to. I'm sorry. I was really pulling for you in Hibari. I thought it looked pretty cute, but I think that's where her story ends. It might not. We might pull a Robin and Luffy, when the Straw Hat crew thawed them out, but we don't know how harsh Aokiji has gotten in the last 2 years. But yes, the source of the freezing is Kuzan, Blackbeard's 10th commander, which I don't want it to be true. Kuzan is my favorite admiral, and I thought, okay, if he's an ally of Blackbeard, this just might be deep undercover. But if Kuzan is an actual 10th commander, then I don't know. I'm hoping it's not true, but maybe he really has given up, because Garp, the two of them begin staring each other down, and Kuzan has a bit of a flashback. We see Blackbeard returning to Hachinosu after a time of debauchery sometime during the last 2-year time skip, and he comes home to see most of his island frozen over, Even Sun One Wolf, the great battleship, completely iced. There's, if you zoom in really carefully, you can see Blackbeard. I think that's Devon, and I think Van Auger are with him. But other than that, it looks like the rest of the crew is frozen solid. And Blackbeard opens the door, and there's Kuzan having a drink at the bar, and he tells Blackbeard, I wouldn't use that tremor fruit if I were you, considering most of your crew's an icicle right now, so unless you want to shatter all of them, leave me alone. I am in mourning right now. That's the word that Viz Manga uses. He is in mourning right now, and whose fault do you think that is? I'm not exactly sure what this is about. Who is he mourning? I don't think he was very close with Ace. I don't think he was very close with Whitebeard. Is he mourning his sense of justice? Is he mourning because he lost his fight with Sakazuki? I kind of wish we had gone into more detail on that because I'm a little confused right now. Regardless, though, Blackbeard and Kuzan actually hit it off. The two of them end up drinking together. He thawed out all of Blackbeard's crew, and they're laughing, they're drinking together, and Kuzan actually confirms that Film Z is canonical in the appearance it gave him because he really did lose his leg in the fight with Sakazuki. He even makes a joke about it. He talks, I guess when they were fighting, Sakazuki was like, how did it come down to this? Two Navy men who went up through the ranks together, and now we have to fight against each other. It really makes my blood boil. And Kuzan responds with, well, yeah, you're made of magma. Everything boils about you. Ah! And he's laughing, and the Blackbeard pirates are laughing, and yeah, he really did lose his leg, just like Film Z showed us. He is missing a leg. That is a pretty brutal fight. But this is when they tell him about the man covered in scars. The man with the burn scars on him. And Kuzan, at first, they're like, the man with burn scars, and Kuzan pulls up his shirt, and he's like, oh, you mean like these? And they're like, it's not you, you're the guy that just recently got burned. And we learn a few new things about the man marked by flames. The man with the burn scars. He is in a pitch black ship. He might have information on the fourth poneglyph. And anytime ships come near him, whirlpools start to appear. Some of Blackbeard's crew believe it to be the work of a devil fruit. Some wonder if he's a member of the Marines or the world government. It would make sense that if the world government got their hands on at least one poneglyph, it would prevent the entire world of pirates from ever getting to the One Piece, because you need exactly all four to pull it off. Blackbeard even mentions during this that in addition to the ones with Big Mom and Kaido, he has no clue where the other two could possibly be. That being said, this implies that Blackbeard doesn't know about the Zou poneglyph, which is great because that means there are still two out of his possible grasp, not to mention Kaido and Big Mom guard the other two. Kuzan goes on to tell them, poneglyphs are really nothing but a bad memory for me. All they remind me of is my friend that fought and stood against the government, and the hopeless eyes of a little girl whose life was in my hands. And Burgess is like, this is a horribly boring story. Can we please move on to something else? And he's laughing, they're laughing, and as they're talking and laughing, Lafitte kind of leans over to Blackbeard and he goes, hey, Kuzan has a really strong devil fruit. This might be the time to take that. And Kuzan looks at them and goes, I can hear you. Boom! Entire area is frozen over. Blackbeard's crew is completely out of commission except a couple members again. Which shows you just how fast the admirals can use their devil fruits. Kizaru may be light speed, but Akainu and Sakazuki and Kuzan, their reflexes are pretty good too. Had it been the other way around, Sakazuki could have melted the whole island right there. But as they're staring each other down, Blackbeard's like, whoa, okay, hang on, whoa, easy there, big fella. I don't feel that way. My crew are a bunch of idiots. I don't want that. I have my own sense of justice. You have your own sense of justice. Pirates are an interesting bunch. We don't all have to agree, We just all have to have the same goal. Kuzan, I want to offer you a spot on my crew. And even Blackbeard's crew is completely confused by this. Kuzan's like, why would I join you? They're like, why would he join us? And Blackbeard goes, listen, you're a free man right now. The government's betrayed you. Your own sense of justice has betrayed you. The world is a weird place right now. So just tell me, Kuzan, what do you want to do? And that's a very interesting question to ask. What do you want to do? Now, I know we're all going to go for the obvious of maybe this is some amazingly deep undercover work. So undercover that anything could be brought up, that like if he earns the trust of Blackbeard, he can learn the dark secrets that Blackbeard knows, or he can steer a Yonko in the wrong direction, keeping him out of the race for the top. Or Kuzan might be evil. I don't want to believe that. This is the same man that spared Nico Robin's life. However, as we move back into the modern time, Kuzan freezes Garp solid, and he tells him, hey, your number one protege used to be me. You gotta choose. Are you gonna fight me, or are you gonna fight me to save him, or are you gonna let me keep Kobe? Because Kobe's your new favorite. And Garp bursts out of the ice, because he's Garp, and Garp tells him, only those who falter from their justice are the real weak ones in this world, because I told you to live your life the way you want to live it for justice, to live it for peace, and now you're doing this. And he just slams him into the ground, creating a new crater called Blue Hole, which maybe he named it after Aokiji, but he just slams him down into the Earth's crust, and that's where that fight leaves off. Personally, if Kuzan really turns evil, then Blackbeard might capture Garp. Blackbeard might, have Garp as like a bargaining chip, and maybe even let Kobe go. Because, like, hey, I got the hero of the Navy. I don't need the new hero of the Navy. I got the good hero of the Navy. I got the fist. But if Kuzan is so deep undercover that he has to make it look real, Kobe might make it out of this alive, because Garp doesn't. I would say in the next few chapters ahead, we got a break next week, but be prepared for the worst, because anything could happen right now, but none of the options look good for most of the people involved. And normally this would be a great place to end a chapter. Garp's fight starts with Kuzan and the two of them, two legendary members of the Marines, going at it on Hachinosu, where everybody watching is pretty much a bystander because no one's strong enough to get in the middle of this fight. But that's not even where the chapter ends. No. We get to go to Winter Island and see how Law's doing. Hey, Law, how you doing? The Polar Tang is sinking and destroyed, and Law is on the ground with Beppo next to him, as Blackbeard stands over him and says, ha, oh, this is pretty cool. We beat Trafalgar Law, and I don't know whether I want to sell the op fruit or take the power and use it. So that part right there. The using the power, we all knew Blackbeard can steal devil fruits, but the fact that he said sell it implies that Blackbeard we'll either get an explanation on some devil fruit reincarnation, like, is it the nearest fruit, or is it anywhere in the world? Like, we still don't have a solid confirmation on that one. But Blackbeard seems to know something about reincarnation, so selling the fruit is an option to him. But he kneels down to Law and he's like, I don't suppose you could give me that whole eternal life surgery thing. This is like the number one thing people ask you for when they're about to kill you, I'm sure. But as he's talking to Law, he is completely ignoring Beppo, who, as Beppo's lying there, he's got this like little flashback speech bubbles of him talking to Chopper, and he's like, oh, you really made this for me? And Chopper told him, I don't know if it's going to work, but Beppo takes it, he munches on it, and he eats it. And as Blackbeard's standing over, Trafalgar Law, you just see Beppo slowly growing in one of the panels, and he's like, "Get your hands off of my captain!" And he just turns into this giant bear. It's his Sulong form. This is Beppo's Sulong form. Now Oda said, when asked, who the second strongest was, Sachi and Penguin were like, "Oh, we think we're pretty strong." And then they saw Sulong form Beppo, and they thought, Beppo is the second strongest member of the crew. Beppo, Sulong form, in the daylight, as some of his crew members even note. Van Alger's like, "Wait, daylight? It's daytime. Why? There's no moon. Why is he a Sulong?" And Beppo slams Blackbeard away, and he grabs Law, and he jumps into the ocean, because Blackbeard's crew can't chase him in the ocean. They are 100% devil fruit eaters. So, as Beppo is swimming deeper and deeper, he's got Law with him, and Law's telling him, "We got to go back. We got to save the crew." And as he's like, "No, we all made it. We left the North Blue together. We are strong. We have faced those icy waters before. We will gather everyone together again. You just have to have faith in them, Captain, because right now you need to live." And Beppo swims deeper under the water with Law in tow. As the narrator tells us, on that day, the Heart Pirates, led by Trafalgar Law, were defeated. Not completely annihilated like Eustace Kidd, but defeated. Which means Shanks and Blackbeard now have those poneglyph etchings. And Law was at Zoe, so Blackbeard has 3 now. If Law gave the etchings to Eustace, Shanks now has 3. If Law only gave the Kaido etchings to Eustace, Shanks only has 2. So either way, Shanks and Blackbeard don't have all 4. But we know guaranteed Blackbeard has 3 now, which means Zoe is in danger. Or not Zoe, sorry. Zoe is not in danger. Shanks is a nice guy. We know the man marked in flames is a target for not just Luffy, but Blackbeard, Shanks. There might be a battle on this pitch black ship. But that's pretty much where the chapter ends. There's nothing else there. Soundly defeated. There is no hope for recovery. They have to get away. They just got away. That's rough. That's bad. Law's alive, though. So, hooray for Law fans. He's not dead. Yay. No new chapter next week. So we all get to sit on this with, is Kuzan actually evil? Why did Chopper give Beppo the power of cocaine? Because I told my brother about Beppo's Sulong form. He said, "Oh, that's cool. How did he get that power?" And I told him, little speech bubble about Chopper, and he goes, "Oh, so this was kind of a Deus Ex Machina kind of thing." And I got to admit, kind of out of left field. I'm going to reread Wano and see if there was ever like a panel where Chopper and Beppo were in the background talking, but the best way I can rationalize this is Chopper has been in Zoe for a very long time. He was at Zoe while Luffy was at Dressrosa fighting Doflamingo. Then he got to Zoe, and then Chopper worked with the Minks to heal, all of Caesar's gas weapon, to, cure them all of that. And then he worked with the Minks when they were on Onigashima, healing up everyone during the battle, the Ice Oni virus. Like, Chopper has had a lot of time to study Mink biology. Chopper is also a medical genius now. He has studied 2 years in the Toriko Kingdom. It's not too far-fetched to consider that because Chopper can manipulate the power of his own Devil Fruits transformations, that forcing a transformation out of another species would not entirely be impossible. At first I thought Beppo ate a Rumble Ball, but this might just be a drug that Chopper created to help Minks get into their Sulong form. Which, let me tell you, when the final battle comes, it doesn't have to be on the night of a full moon anymore, because Chopper can look at the minks and just be like, here you go, guys! And now we got an army of mink Sulongs, who it apparently is not a very long transformation. It's probably, the Rumble Ball 3-minute classic. But that doesn't stop Chopper from developing a 30-minute model later, since he and Caesar did that for the Rumble Ball. It just might have some bad side effects. Regardless, though, we could talk about the science of medicine all day. There's no new chapter next week, but I am absolutely excited for what's going on in One Piece right now. It has just been peak after peak after peak. So I hope you'll be with me when we get to the next chapter. Thank you for watching as always, and I will see you in the next video. This is the Hero of Julios, Xing out.